Good morning, friends. Happy Thursday. So a long time ago, I actually put out a poll for you guys on my YouTube channel where you guys would vote on a set of 3 emojis. Whichever one got the highest votes would become a pattern that I would create for free for you guys here on my channel. I think that was like 6 months ago. I started a little bit of it shortly after the poll concluded, but I just unfortunately was never able to pick it back up again. However, now is the time that we are finally going to get to this pattern. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Karis for those who are new here, and I make crochet amigurumi plushies. The emoji combination that won was a kitty emoji, a wing emoji, and flowers. I think that's a super cute combination, and obviously everybody else did too because it won the vote. So we are going to come up with a pattern that matches all of those 3 emojis, and that's going to be for free for you guys here on YouTube. So that is what we're going to be doing today. Ow, Jay, can you not? You're going to fall off, oh goodness. Okay, so the first step when it comes to pattern creation that I personally do is I like to draw out a sketch of what we're essentially going for. So I have my fancy iPad here, and I'm going to draw out something on the direction that I think that this pattern should go in. First, I'd like to point out that I am not an artist by any means, so do not make fun of my drawings. But the first thing I want to figure out is, do I want a kitty that is sitting or essentially just on 2 legs with 2 paws and have this pattern be this way? Or do I want a kitty that is on all 4 legs, essentially like my other kitty pattern? Both of them have their challenges when it comes to actually designing the pattern in the end. We also have to incorporate flowers and wings. That looks awful, but like, bear with me. So I think when it comes to making the pattern, a sitting cat might be an easier make to also incorporate adding wings onto the back and possibly like giving him a flower to hold, or maybe putting like a flower crown on his head, perhaps. So I think a sitting cat is going to be our best bet here. So we're going to go ahead and start designing with a sitting cat. I did want to mention that you guys are watching this as it develops in real time. I didn't have anything all ready to go before recording because I wanted to be as real and transparent about the design process as possible. So that's why it might seem a little bit slower paced. For the actual design process, there are a few steps I usually take. Firstly, if I'm looking for inspiration, then I will Google the cartoon version of that item for some helpful images. Cartoon images are the best because they show the item in its simplest form, which makes it easier to try and create something out of. For this example, I searched for cartoon cats with wings to help me visualize what wings I wanted and maybe the placement of the legs and the arms and so on. After that, I go to Etsy and search for cat patterns to see what already exists so that I can make something new and as original as I can get. Once I've completed those things, I start to consider, how complicated do I want the pattern to be? Am I making this for market prepping or for leisure? If it's a project I want people to look for to sell to others at markets, then I'll have to consider how complicated I make it and the time that will go into making it versus how much it could be sold for. If I overdo the complication, then most won't prefer the pattern for markets. I also have to consider the theme. I need wings for this pattern, and the most obvious answer is to place wings on the back of the kitty, but what about the flower? I didn't want to just toss in a simple flower without tying in some kind of theme, so I started to think, maybe I could put flowers on the wings or make flowers as the wings, but I had no idea how I would accomplish that since I didn't know much about crocheting flowers. So then I went back to the idea of holding the flowers. Do I do a flower basket maybe? And that's when it hit me to do a flower bouquet as if the angel kitty was delivering flowers to a loved one. So I think that is the perfect combination of these emojis to represent all 3 of them. And now we move on to phase 2, making the prototype. If you're trying to replicate this method on making your own pattern, this phase might sound a little intimidating or seem like it might be a little complicated for you to get started, but I think the best way to start this phase is to first start with making as many other crochet amigurumi patterns as you can possibly make. Because when you go through other people's patterns, you learn how to do certain things. They give you the knowledge and the techniques to go into your own patterns. For instance, you might not have known how to make a circle before, and an amigurumi pattern might show you how to do that, and now you know how to do that. You might not know how to make a bobble stitch to simulate arms on a small plushie, but if you go through some patterns, they'll show you how to do a bobble stitch. So just learning some techniques like that that can be incorporated into new patterns could really, really help you if you're trying to make your own pattern. For my pattern, I'm going to be starting with the cat body, and then we will move on to making the wings and finally the flower bouquet. I think I'm going to make my cat in a gray color as a little gray kitty so that everything else in the pattern pops, because his wings are probably going to be white and there's going to be color in the bouquet. So I think a gray kitty would be the best option here. The yarn I'm going to be using for this pattern is Sweet Snuggles Light in the color gray, and this is a weight 6 yarn, so it already works up a bigger project, which is kind of what I'm going for here. If I have something with a lot of detail that's going to take a lot of time, I'd prefer to make a project that's going to be bigger so that it's worth people's time, especially if you are trying to market prep or make plushies for profit. To go along with that, I will also be using a 6.5mm hook, and those two paired together will make a decently sized plushie. As I start and go along making this plushie, I am going to be using my iPad, and I'm just going to be writing everything down onto the Notes app for the iPad. I just recently got this iPad, so I'm making a lot of use out of it, and I enjoy and sometimes prefer just handwriting things a lot of the times. However, if you don't have an iPad, you don't have that luxury, or you don't want to write things on a pen and paper, I also utilize Canva for writing down my patterns because it's very easy to go back, delete things, and rewrite things as you go along with your patterns. Because there's going to be many times where you frog things and you have to go back and erase what you did and restart. So Canva is also an awesome option that I often utilize, but we're going to be using the iPad today. So for our pattern, there's a lot of components like the wings and the flower bouquet that are probably going to take a little bit of time, especially with having to sew it on. And I have a feeling we're also going to have to sew on some legs and arms. So I'm going to try to make this as least difficult as possible, as easy as possible. So what I'm gonna do is try to work the head and the body as one single unit. That way it's just one less thing that we have to worry about sewing together. So we're gonna start from the head down, which is usually the easiest way to incorporate working both the head and the body together. And we're gonna start with 12 single crochet in the magic ring because we want to get rid of that pesky little cone head shape and just get straight into making a decent size head for our plushie. If you want to learn more tricks like these, check out this video right up here where you will learn several awesome tricks like that. We started with 12 single crochet in our magic ring. It's a bit stuffed, but trust me, this is one of the better ways to start a plushie if you want to avoid that pointy little head. I'm going to go ahead and start adding more and more to this head and see what kind of progress we can make. And I'll continue updating when things don't work out because it's going to happen. So far, we've completed the head, which I'm actually pretty happy with, so we'll have to see how the measurements work out as we go along, but so far this is pretty good. I'm gonna stuff him and put some eyes on him. Not really sure where I'm gonna put the eyes yet because a lot of the times that changes depending on like how cute you want it and where you end up putting the ears and everything else. A lot of times when I'm making patterns and trying to figure out where the eye placement is, I will go ahead and just skip putting the eyes in, especially because I have safety eyes, so they're really hard to get out once they're in. So a lot of times I will skip that part and then wait until the end to super glue them in so that I can see what placement I like the best, and then going forward after that I place them in around this time. But this time I think I'm just gonna go ahead and place them in and go with it. Here's our head. We're definitely gonna have to trust the process. I might need to use bigger eyes. We'll have to see what the proportions look like, but we're gonna keep going into the body. We just completed the head and the body. We've got to finish up the bottom here, but so far I'm liking how this came out. I think I should have probably moved the eyes down a row or so, but we'll see how it plays out as we go. We might make that fix. I haven't had to frog anything too extensively, maybe just a row or two here or there. But now we're moving on into the feet and the arms and the ears and the tail and the wings and the bouquets. So let's just keep this ball rolling. To do the arms and the legs, what I'm wanting is a cat that's going to sit, so his legs are going to come out, but his hands are also going to converge onto the bouquet of flowers that he's going to be holding. So I think I'm going to start with the feet first to get the size that I want for the feet and get him to sit the way that I want him to. And then we'll move into the arms that are going to reach across his chest. I've actually never done feet like this to complement a pattern like this, so this is the first time I'll be trying this, and I'm definitely feeling like there's going to be some trial and error here. I think I'm going to start with 6 single crochet and a magic ring for his little feet and see what kind of size that gets me. So this foot took quite a few tries to actually get right here because I initially started decreasing all the way around, but I only wanted it to have this angle downwards and have a flat bottom, so I only did decreases on the top and kept the bottom with regular single crochets so that it had a curved up foot and a flat bottom. That took quite a few tries, but I'm actually happy with this. I'm happy with how it sits on him, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish this off, make a second one, and then we'll work on the arms. Okay, we just finished the front arms. They're going to essentially go onto the plushie like this. It's kind of hard to hold them both up, but these should be long enough to reach the flower in the middle of him. And these ones were relatively simple. It was just a increase to get to the stitch count and then just repeat single crochets until we get the length that we wanted. So it was definitely much simpler than his little feet. Alright friends, our kitty has ears now. I haven't recorded too much of the process for these because I already have a cat pattern that has ears, so it was pretty simple on making the ears because I've made them before, so I didn't have to mess around and play around with them too much to figure them out. But now we have to do the tail. I have done a tail that does a little squiggly for one of my kitty patterns, but I don't know if I want that for this cat. Either I want a tail that goes like this, or I want a tail that just comes around the body and just sits kind of by his feet. So I don't know which one I want. I'm still trying to kind of figure that out and see which is going to work better for this project. I think perhaps since he's going to have wings in the back, I'm not sure about having the tail come up this way, or if maybe that would look really cute, because if you had a tail that comes up and out like that with the wings in between, maybe it would help even hold down the wings a little bit too. Maybe we'll go with that. See, like, a lot of this pattern making is like decision making as you go along, and I see things in my head. I'm like, huh, is this gonna work? Knowing what I've tried before, and I just keep going with it and try to see, like, do I like this? Do I not like this? And just keep playing different scenarios in my head until I come up with something. Again, I don't like the eye placement. I think I'm gonna move it down for the next prototype, but so far he's really cute. So I think I'm gonna move on to the wings first. That way, when I go to do the tail, I know how tall I want to make it to match up with the wings. So we're gonna move on into the wings. I've never done wings before. I have made wings for several patterns of other people's stuff. Obviously, I'm not trying to copy anything, so we want to make something that's a little bit unique, something that is ours with our own twist to it. So we gotta get working on that, and I have to figure out how I'm gonna do that. We're gonna be using white for the wings. Same hook and everything. Speaking of which, where's my hook? You guys, like, right now, this is my messy work area, so trying to find things is a little bit difficult sometimes. I should clean it up, but every time I clean it up, within maybe a day, it's right back to Project City and yarn. Okay, hook found. So what I want to do is have wings, have them actually look like wings. And I think the best way to do that is to do it in rows, perhaps. And I'll probably start bottom to top. Maybe. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. And as I go along, I'm gonna have to measure it up against the kitty. So I'm basically just gonna put them up against the back and see, because I want all parts of the wing from the bottom to the top to be seen. So it looks like 5 is gonna be enough on the chain to start the bottom. Now we're gonna need to create some kind of loop around. So I think I'm gonna add 2 and should we double, single, half double? Let's single crochet. Let's add 1. We're gonna single crochet. So we'll add 1, so it's 6 chains then, and then we're gonna place 5 single crochets down the line. We'll try that. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, so this is the thickness of our bottom wing here. We'll chain 1 to start the next one. Let's do, so we're gonna increase as we go down to make the wing thicker. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. We still want this little bump here to be seen, so we're not gonna single crochet 5 down the line. We'll do 4. That way we're leaving this last one as a bump. And then let's chain 1, 2, 3, which gives us 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 more than the last one, which seems like a decent increase. Hopefully you guys understand where I'm going with this. I'm trying to like show you my thought process on making patterns, at least for me. This is how it works for me. But so then we're gonna single crochet back down the line. 1, 2, 3. This is essentially what we've got going here. So you can see how it's getting a little bit longer. It's feathering out. I think the only, well, okay, so the only issue is that we're gonna end up with a straight line here, but if we sew it on at an angle, it should look more wing-like. So we shouldn't have to worry about that. So I'm gonna keep going, kind of trying to add 1 and see where we get there with that. It looks really cute, I think. I think it looks pretty cute. So we're gonna keep going and keep adding to that. We've got 2 wings done, super cute, really like them. Eventually we're gonna put them on our plushie here. That's not how they're gonna go on, I promise. I think I'm gonna wait on sewing the wings onto the plushie until we have the bouquet, and then we're just gonna go ahead and toss everything on it. And then the last thing we'll have to do is the tail once everything is on it. The only issue currently with the bouquet is I have no idea how to make a bouquet. I have made crochet flowers before that are the actual flowers that you wrap wire with green yarn and then you make the flower on top and then you hot glue everything. I've done that before. Never crocheted any kind of simplistic flower that doesn't involve any wire but also has a stem. So I'm not really sure how to go about that. I thought about doing some simple little daisy looking flower, but then adding a green stem to that would be a bit challenging. I'm not really sure how to go about that either. And then we have to make several and then wrap them in a bouquet and put them in his hands. So I'm wondering if it might just be simpler to just give him a flower to hold. But at that point, the reason why I haven't been so keen on that idea, because that seems like the easiest way to go about this challenge, but I want there to be more of a theme with this kitty as opposed to just slapping all of the elements together and calling it good, you know? I want the flower theme to actually be presented naturally in this pattern as opposed to just giving him a flower to hold and calling it good. So I think the bouquet is a good idea because he's essentially bringing you flowers. A little angel kitty is bringing you flowers. But I also don't want this to be overly complicated and take forever, because a lot of times people make these patterns for markets and you're not going to want to make a pattern for a market that's going to take you 5 hours to make and you can only sell for $30. So that is the balance that we are trying to conquer. Okay, so after some trial and error, I actually came up with what I think is a cute little flower here that I could surface crochet a stem on and bring it down. It's a decent size for our plushie, and if we add some stems to it, maybe do 3 flowers, then he'll be holding a bouquet of flowers. I think I am going to go ahead and try that stem and see how that works on this. Now we have a flower and a stem that actually worked out a lot better than I thought that it would. So the stem is actually super cute and looks really good. It looks really cute. It's a bit of a mess right now because of all the strings, but it looks really cute, I think. If we give him 3 of these, then he'll have a little bouquet that he's holding. That's really cute. I love that. And then we'll finish up the rest. We completed the flowers for the bouquet, which is really cute, but now I'm trying to figure out how to kind of get them together in a bouquet-like style to give them to our kitty to hold. I think I might need to make like a little bow or a ribbon to wrap around the top here to bring them together. Either that or like maybe tie the stems together and then put a bow on it. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this so that they're all together at the top and like really tight closed together so that it matches the size of our kitty and is really cute. It's already cute. Look at it. Oh my goodness. I think I might do a bow. I think a bow is going to be the cutest way to do this. And perhaps the best way because I can tie it really tight at the top. So we'll try that first. You guys, look at how cute he is already. This is so cute. He's got his little bouquet he's holding out for us. So adorable. He's gonna be really cute with his little face details too. He doesn't have his wings on or his tail yet, but so cute, you guys. Look at how adorable that is. Oh, I just love that. That is super adorable. You guys, we are almost there. He's so cute. Okay, so the last detail is the whiskers here, and I'm not entirely sure. I haven't finished them off because I don't know if he looks better with or without them. I like the whiskers because cats are supposed to have whiskers. I don't use fishing line like other people recommend when making cats because I try to, when doing my crochet patterns, I try to keep it to where it's all yarn, essentially, where you don't need to buy extra materials that you might not necessarily have laying around. So I try to do everything in yarn if possible. And the whiskers are really cute. I just don't know if this particular pattern would look just fine with not having the whiskers, if he was just a kitty without any kind of detail like that. So I'm still trying to figure that out. But we did get his wings and his little tail. We decided to go with a horizontal tail that wraps around his back as opposed to one that just goes vertically up because you can see it a little bit better. So yeah, now I'm just trying to figure out the whisker part and then he's gonna be all done. He's so cute. After careful consideration, I decided to just take the whiskers off entirely. So If you wanted whiskers, I'm sorry. I think he looks a little bit better without them. I think they just look like it's too much, it's too busy, and I don't want to have to add fishing line to the material list for this pattern. And I think he looks cute, like, without it. And it's kind of like the flowers might be hiding it a little bit, plus it might be hiding a little bit of a smile too, so it's super adorable. What do you guys think? I mean, I really love this. I love that emoji combination too. I'm so glad that you guys voted for it. And this pattern is going to be entirely free. I will be posting a tutorial so you guys can follow along, as well as a written pattern on my blog too. I may post one that you can, a PDF that you can buy, but there will be several other ways to get this pattern for free if you want to do that. The PDF pattern just makes it to where you could print it out or just support the channel and things like that. So definitely not a necessity if you want to make this yourself. So this pattern will have a tutorial coming out soon, hopefully within the next week after the release of this video. So if you'd like to see the tutorial for this pattern, and also stay tuned for the release of the free pattern on my blog for my website so that you can build them yourself, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss those updates. Hopefully you were able to learn something helpful with making your own pattern. And if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments below and I will do my very best to get back to you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.